Oregon, a land of adventure and awe, a treasure.
That was a great take.
Majestic and hidden. A state that calls out for exploration and experience. The journey of discovery begins now. From KGW, this is Grants Getaways.
Hi there, I'm Grant McComey, your host for KGW's Grants Getaways, and welcome to the Grants Getaways Holiday Special, where we celebrate some of our favorite times and travels across Oregon. We visit a wildlife artist whose backyard birding and creative artistry lends a magical touch to tiny hummingbirds. And Oregon's coastal scenery might lead you to believe that all is calm and serene. But for those who work in the ocean, it's risk and danger crossing the bar at Tillamook Bay. And we journey to the high desert, where down-home comfort and giant beefsteaks are the reward for travel to the Cowboy dinner tree. We also visit Oregon history, where a century-old catastrophic fire provides the backdrop for a new tourist draw along Astoria's Waterfront. It's a wonderful celebration of Oregon and some of our favorite people, places, and outdoor activities. So let's get started. Along the Columbia River, a place marked by big water, miles of sandy shore, and thousands of salmon. It's shoreline salmon fishing on the Columbia River. The Buoyten salmon fishery is the region's biggest outdoor show, as hundreds of boats carry thousands of anglers to catch salmon.
It is a huge destination fishery, probably the best chance you have of catching a Columbia River, bright, big Chinook, plus a lot of silvers.
And you don't need a boat to join the fun.
If I was going to buy my dad a salmon reel, it'd be that one right there. How's that?
Mark Ackrell at England Marine in Astoria can set you straight on shoreline fishing tackle and gear. England's offers rods, reels, and the right lures for a big catch.
This started 5 or 6 years ago, got super popular. Just throwing a MEPS or some other spinner, usually in pink or chartreuse. This one's 7/8 of an ounce, makes it probably the most popular one we sell. Pink, pink, or pink is my favorite. Personal preference, but if you look at 60% of the guys out there, they'll have some kind of pink on there.
Mark adds that the turn of the tide to incoming is the time to be there, and the technique is simple.
You want to cast as far as you can, let it kind of swing with the current. If you want a rod, you can feel that blade make its thump. You'll notice a lot of the fish are hooked within 10 to 25 feet of the bank, right there at your feet.
Shoreline salmon fishing sites are easy to find along Clatsop Spit near Fort Stevens State Park.
Fishing off the beach is a casual thing to do. I can do it after work, I can do it before work. It's just fun.
Wasn't that the one you had to bite on yesterday?
Yeah.
That's basically what we're using. But everybody on this beach will use something different. You ask one guy, he'll like green. You'll ask one guy, he'll like orange. You'll ask one guy, he'll like pink. I like them all.
Scott McGregor likes to show newcomers how it's done. Today, his good friend Gordon Thompson and his son Sam have joined Scott and the daylight crowd at low tide for shoreline salmon.
You could spend under $100 for everything. Buy a few spinners, and it's about the most affordable fishery there is to catch a salmon. I'm putting on this old, crusty blue fox with an old red hoochie on it. This is one of my favorites. I've caught quite a few fish down here on this one. That one's got experience.
McGregor has a lifetime of shoreline salmon experience and the clippings to prove it.
40 years ago this week.
It's sort of place that helps McGregor hold on to memories.
Right here on this beach. And that's what it looked like when a lot of people are on the beach. This has been a popular spot for a long time. That was when I first got married. I'll be 63 in a month, and my wife and I got married that year, and we used to come down here after work, and with all of our friends, that's what we did after work. It never gets old.
Nor does this.
There we go. Fish on. Feels awesome.
It's a Chinook hatchery salmon, but an inch shy of the 24-inch legal size. So, back to the river.
There he is.
It was fin clipped, but it still didn't make length.
Yeah, you're always happy.
This is relaxing. You're not out there getting bounced around with all these boats.
I don't do a lot of beach fishing. Scotty has kind of introduced us to this beach fishery. It's something that I can see us, starting to get more and more into as he's getting a little bit older.
Oh, baby, there we go. Oh, that might be a king. Oh, boy, that is a dandy. That's a beauty. That is a chromer.
It's a wild salmon, and it goes back in the river.
There we go. We've got to net a fish for somebody. 40 years later, that was cool. That was really fun.
Young Sam is having a blast. He's caught steelhead, trout, and even sturgeon with his dad, so shoreline salmon fishing is right up his alley. His biggest to date is 25 pounds.
It's just like very involved. Like you're not just sitting in a boat waiting to get a bite, you're always like casting, you're reeling in, It's just a great time. Yeah, it's really fun.
I like the ease of it, just being able to come out here and, park the truck, and we're not messing with bait, we're just throwing spinners and stuff. So there's a convenience factor to it that's pretty cool.
And down here, if you want to stop fishing for a while and go have a cup of coffee, stop fishing and go have a cup of coffee. Never get tired of it. Never.
Here's a fishing adventure that provides memories to last a lifetime for kids and dads alike. In the Columbia River Gorge, where 6 million feisty 5-pound fish called shad migrate through each June. If there is a better dad's dream day than this, I don't know where or when.
They all have fish on. That's pretty cool. Oh, even he has a fish on.
Neither does fishing guide Bill Monroe. Catching shad with the small fry in the sprawling and scenic Columbia Gorge.
We're fishing in the middle of a mountain range. We're right smack dab in the middle of the Cascades. You don't see that everywhere. It's pretty unique. I love it. I just love it. Let's get this rod out.
Bill cherishes his time with the youngsters when millions of 5-pound shad, distant cousins to herring, make their annual run up the Columbia River.
You'll see all of a sudden they'll have a fish on, then they'll have a fish on, and then all of us will have a fish on, and it'll just go like that for the whole day, just on and off.
His boys, Billy and Grayson, and their cousin Amelia with her dad Jared, like that too.
They almost look like oversized herring, yeah. Kind of are, actually.
Yeah. Oh, Amelia got one. It's pulling really hard.
This invitation to nonstop catching has a certain casino-like appeal.
They're everywhere.
Gambling on who can lift the fish straight to the cooler. No nets allowed.
So we call it Shad Roulette. Yeah. Here's how it works. This is called fair chase shad fishing. We don't need to net it. Okay, Amelia, go ahead and lift a little bit. You ready? If we get it, we get it. Oh, we got it! There he is.
Well, it's a fish.
The cooler is open. Shad Roulette is upon us. Will we get it?
3, 2, 1, and take off.
Oh,
Nice! Directly in there. Nice.
Meanwhile, the kid's granddad is having a dream day too. So many fish, so much laughter, and smiles as wide as the river.
People want to fish for something, and they're going to. And shad happen to be abundant and easy to fish for, and of course, great for kids. It's a natural for youngsters.
These are the good old days for shad.
It seems like it's just about every year.
But millions of fish.
millions of fish in hundreds of years.
Shad have been labeled the founding fish. Historians say shad saved the American troops from certain starvation at Valley Forge in 1777. The East Coast transplant was brought out west in the 1870s. The table fare is fine, cooked, brined, and pickled, or even smoked. So if you were to smoke a shad, or 2 or 3 or 4, how would you go about it?
I'd grind it up, put it in a pipe, and light it.
Okay.
Tackle is simple enough, small spinners with just enough lead to get the rig down to the bottom.
They like this so much because it does this just crazy type of like swimming action in the water, and they love it.
Do colors seem to matter?
Yeah, Shad really like the chartreuse type stuff. This guy over here next to us is using a red-white spoon. That works pretty good too.
Oh, it's just like that excitement when the fish gets on the hook and you're like with everybody else and everybody's excited for you.
Well, what I like about it is that there's always something happening.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
There's always something going on.
Yeah. It's like one fish there and another fish there. Yeah.
This is actually such a plentiful resource. It's very underutilized. The kids can come out here. They have nonstop action. It's consistent enough to keep them entertained and get them like into the outdoors. I like that.
Stay with us. A century-old catastrophic fire is the backdrop for a new tourist draw along Astoria's waterfront when the Grants Getaways holiday special continues. Astoria's early days come alive when you step aboard Old 300. For just $1, enjoy a 3-mile out and back along the town's waterfront. Sort of trip that puts you in touch with history. A century ago, this building between 3rd and 4th made history when a gigantic fire tore through Oregon's oldest city. It was nicknamed the Big Fire of 1922.
Gets under the dock and then it starts burning and then it spreads. It's just like building a campfire. They wiped all the businesses out, the banks, the infrastructure.
The fire jumped from building to building, and in hours, entire blocks turned to ash. The Big Fire consumed 30 blocks of Astoria's business district, displaced 3,000 people until it reached this building.
The city was built over water and everything was wood except for like this building. So it didn't really affect this building.
Lifelong Astorian Steve Fick admired the wharf and warehouse brick building for its endurance and its lasting mark on Oregon history. Built in 1892, it is the state's oldest riverfront warehouse. So he bought the building and he's giving it new life. Fresh cut timber and myrtle wood tables, copper sheeting for interior walls. He hired an artist to capture a time before outboards, when fishermen rowed boats to catch giant Columbia River salmon called June hogs.
It's a guy that's working with his hands. Those are huge fish.
It's all homage to the brick building's ties with salmon fishing, back when salmon canneries were king, and the warehouse stored all the tin used to make the cans filled with fish and shipped around the world. These days, the centerpiece of Pacific Distillery harkens to a time when alcohol production was commonplace.
Okay, well, we're putting the mash in the tank so that we can get her heated up and start making some whiskey. This is a corn rye mash, 80 corn, 20 malted rye.
A copper still produces bottles of whiskey, gin, and vodka. A kitchen produces menu staples including shrimp and crab and chowder, and the diners feel right at home.
The chowder was the best I've ever had. It is the best. It was the best I have ever had. I could have had more.
You're in a historic building. It's creating its own unique wares. And when you come in here, you can ask questions and you can learn something about the history of Astoria. And that's the big part.
Built on the ground where the river meets the shore, the lasting qualities of the old brick building offer new life that make Pacific Distillery worth a visit.
That's what we are. We're a nautical timber community. It's where our past is, hopefully where our future goes.
It may be the smallest of shellfish, but Oregon's pink shrimp is hugely popular at an Oregon heritage pub whose name harkens to Astoria's 1800s. It's a short lift from the boat to the dock for thousands of pounds of Oregon pink shrimp, also called bay shrimp or cocktail shrimp. It is Oregon's second most valuable seafood behind Dungeness crab. Last year, the Oregon pink shrimp harvest was 44 million pounds, a seafood worth more than $20 million to coastal communities.
We're something to be proud of. When people care about what they put in themselves and what they eat and they consume, they generally want local, wild, sustainable, good for the planet, good for their body, and we have that story to tell.
Pink shrimp are high protein, low calorie, and just the sort of product that Chef Matt McClure loves to serve in new recipes at the Astoria Brewing Company, one of the town's heritage pubs. It was established in '97, but celebrates the same name link with the first brewery in town, established in 1872.
1800s, people were making beer. There's multiple breweries. Prohibition takes over and shuts all that down. Nobody really did anything for a lot of years. At some point, they decided that somebody needed to start making some beer, and it's helped out town immensely. Beer tourism is amazing.
McClure loves to take advantage of fresh seafood in his kitchen, and pink shrimp are the perfect menu item.
It's definitely something that we sell a lot of on a daily basis, trying to get the people what they want.
Recipe number 1 is a shrimp Louis dressing. 3 cups of mayo, 2 tablespoons of ketchup, a half a cup of sour cream. Build a base to which he will add other ingredients, including the juice from 1 whole lemon.
That's the thing that brings the whole room together. This is one version of a Louis that is kind of a traditional salad that people have done over the years. And then we go shrimp. It's a whole big old pile of it.
He adds 3 pounds of Oregon pink shrimp.
We got a little mixed green, we got some avocado and egg, and it's like you got a built-in dressing right in there, along with all your shrimp.
Recipe number 2 is a sandwich called the shrimp po' boy. Large prawns replace the pink shrimp and are double dredged in rice flour and then into a beer batter of rice flour before a quick trip into a 350-degree fryer.
Let's take about 3.5, 4 minutes.
The large crunchy shrimp rest atop sourdough rolls and are topped with a not-too-spicy remoulade, a savory and flavorful sauce.
It's sweet, it's spicy, it's the perfect seafood sauce, especially for shrimp.
Diners dig in and then weigh in on their lunch.
This is an incredible sandwich. I like the kick in it, just a little bit, not too hot. The roll was exceptionally good.
Fresh ingredients.
Yeah, I thought it was excellent.
The sandwich, I've never had a shrimp pour by before, and it was absolutely fantastic. I'm assuming that this has become one of their best sellers because it's very good. I would go out of my way to order a sandwich like this.
You should go out of your way to make Astoria Brewing a getaway stop for the food, the beer, and a stunning view to the broad Columbia River.
We've got a great view right here on the water. We've got an outdoor deck. Really easy system set up so that when you're coming in town, you can eat, drink, and have a good time.
Stay with us. We journey to the high desert where down-home comfort and giant beefsteaks are the reward for travel to the Cowboy dinner tree when Grants Getaways Holiday Special continues. When Oregon's outback calls, leave the tall timber and cascade waterfalls behind and dive into a vast desert of sage and juniper. Near Silver Lake, where the most entertaining chuck wagon, minus the wheels, preps for dinner guests.
We're like the gateway to Southeast Oregon. If you take the state of Oregon on a map and fold it in half, we're right in the crease.
Some people pull up and go, I'm not sure that's a restaurant, but that's what we want people to think because it's a shack and it's really cool.
A giant juniper and then a fence rail lined with saddles hints at what the sign confirms. You've arrived at the Cowboy dinner tree, where there are no strangers, just folks that owners Angel and Jamie Roscoe haven't met yet.
How's it going, guys?
It's the whole experience. It's not only the amount of food that we serve, but it's the quality of it, the atmosphere of the restaurant, and the experience.
The amount of food sets the dinner tree apart from just about anywhere else. Take a gander at the giant barbecue that right-hand man Brian Baker tends.
If they've been here, they know. If they don't know, then they're, whoa, that's pretty. I had to eat all that.
30-ounce top sirloin steaks, cooked to medium rare. One of 2 entrees you can choose.
Chickens are right behind you.
Just about everywhere you turn, it's right out of the Old West and simply comfortable.
Everything is homemade. You get your salad and your soup and homemade rolls. You get a homemade dessert. They like that it's simple and easy, and they know what they're getting.
Pink lemonade, served in a quart jar.
They love to see their guests' look on their face when we plop that big hunk of meat down, and they're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to eat this?
Chris and I wondered the same. My gosh, it's a big dinner.
If you leave here hungry, it's your fault, not mine.
The dinner tree is open year-round by reservation only, and yet they'll serve 500 steak dinners on a summer weekend.
Every time is wonderful. Got to come back. Got to keep coming back.
The people serving you are just awesome. Just makes you feel at home.
It does all that and more. You'll be coming back for more at a place that may take some time to reach.
After they've spent an hour and a half here and kind of hung out around the property, maybe thrown some horseshoes or a rope and watched the sunset and smelled the sagebrush, a lot of them kind of learned to appreciate it a little bit.
The sunsets out here, they're like nothing you've ever seen. It's just breathtaking out here. The desert is truly beautiful to us.
Stay with us. Oregon's coastal scenery might lead you to believe that all is calm and serene. But for those who work in the ocean each winter, it's risk and danger crossing the bar at Tillamook Bay when the Grants Getaways holiday special continues.
Good morning, friends. How are you guys? Good morning.
On any given weekday, the youngsters step aboard VUTRAN's number 9002 bus.
You guys all excited?
And ride to school.
All right, friends, let's find a seat quickly, please. Good job back there.
Tran calls Route 160 a dream job in the Beaverton School District.
Let's use our library voices, please, in the back.
Considers himself a teacher aboard a rolling classroom.
I treat them like they're my own kids a lot, is what I do, because I would do anything to protect them if I'm on a school bus.
It is also the best work he's ever had because it gives back to his community.
We're a gateway to their success. We're sometimes the first adult they see and the last adult they see, and what we say to them can set a tone for their day, and how we end their day can set their tone when they're at home with mom and dad.
Have a good morning, friends. Bye. Bye, friends. Bye. Have a good morning. I'll see you guys in the afternoon, okay?
Setting the tone is important to a man whose childhood was filled with uncertainty. A refugee family who fled their homeland and landed in Oregon in '79.
To escape from the communism during the war, they were bounced around everywhere during the war in Vietnam. My mom's family lost their family business, lost everything, just needed to get out with communists. Took over, lost everything.
Vu credits his mom and dad for keeping everything together for the large family. They worked several jobs at once to find and build their American dream, beginning with education.
River's looking great. Should be fantastic.
Vu found something else along the way, a passion for the Oregon outdoors.
Ooh, I like that one right there.
Especially new home waters and the secrets they hold.
Oh, there's a fish. Just hanging out in that soft water over there. Nice rosy fish, a little spent. Another wild steelhead. This time of the year, you're gonna find a lot of wild fish. Top corner lip. There we go. And there he goes to go off and make more babies.
Vu was bit by the fishing bug as a kid, thanks to an uncle who took him trout fishing at Lost Lake near Spruce Run Campground. And then Vu discovered bigger fish that live in his new home waters.
They're called the fish of 1,000 casts, and I found out pretty early in my career that it takes a lot to get a steelhead to bite sometimes. It's a lot of work.
Angling success led to obsession. Vu is addicted to steelhead. His pictures from the last 20 years prove it.
How can you not smile when you're out here fishing? You can come down Highway 6 and there's 5 different rivers to fish. I can go down Highway 26 and pick 4 or 5 different rivers. We have so many choices. You can't put a price on that.
Ready for our main speaker tonight?
My name is Vu Tran. I've been fishing for steelhead about 15 years.
Nora Price on an earned reputation as one of the region's finest anglers and respected teachers.
This is one of the most popular methods here is float fishing.
Vu speaks about fishing every chance he gets, and his enthusiastic lectures find few empty seats. Tonight, the Tualatin chapter of Northwest Steelheaders.
The next thing I'm gonna ask you guys is, why do you fish? Love being outdoors, right there, that's me. I love being outdoors, right? It's about seeing the colors, being in God's country. That's what it's about for me. When I first came here in America, people helped our family through everything. Getting on our feet, finding our first apartment, to me, it's giving back to the community, helping out people, seeing people smile. You can't put a price on that when you see somebody smiling.
It just looks really fishy in there today. Oh, there's a fish. I thought it was bottom.
Vu's journey has not been easy. There have been many twists and turns along his trail to reach new home waters. But he insists one thing is certain.
There were a lot of American soldiers who sacrificed their life, a lot of people who sacrificed their life to try to bring freedom to the Vietnamese community and the refugees. I don't want to let them down, the men and women who sacrificed for my roots, because I was given the opportunity to have the American dream, and I'm going to seize it, and I'm going to make sure that I make everyone proud.
See if we can pop him off here. Get him out. Oh, there he goes. That was a wild steelhead there. I want to let that one go. Luckily it popped off there, and he'll swim off to go make some babies.
Oregon's coastal scenery might lead you to believe that all is calm and serene. But each winter, for those folks who work in the ocean, it's all risk and danger crossing the bar at Tillamook Bay. Sometimes the best scenery is hiding in plain sight.
Well, the view you have from here is pretty amazing.
This over-the-shoulder scene is lost to most folks driving up the new 1.5-mile Cape Mears Loop Road.
Pretty amazing view. It's one of the better ones on the coast, I think.
But Don Backman knew it was a keeper shortly after the road reopened after a decade-long closure last fall.
Pretty cool shot.
He promised us the best was yet to come. He was right.
Holy cow, look at that.
Well, that's $1 million shot, huh?
It's gorgeous. You would not ever have seen that view, because this is the only place you're going to see it from.
You can see it from this new scenic overlook created by Tillamook County road planners. The view to Three Arch Rocks is unique and stunning.
When you discovered this view shot for the first time, what were you thinking?
It's an amazing view. It really is. It's, you know, I've hiked most of the Oregon coast, on the Oregon coast trails. I've seen the views, and it stacks right up there with any of them. It's that contrast between the white water and the dark rock. It's just beautiful.
Backman's beauty shots are easy to come by in his corner of the state. The lifelong local and retired teacher makes the most of his gorgeous outdoor neighborhoods in Tillamook County, with eagles and herons and egrets galore. Not bad for a fella gifted with an eye for the wild, who was hooked with his first camera at age 12.
It's like a whole new world. It's like, whoa, what is this? You know, and you could go out and take an image, and you could develop it and watch it develop in the old dark room, and you could see that come to life on your prints when you make prints and stuff. It was just a way to tell a story. It was really a lot of fun.
Don's latest storytelling challenge takes him where wind and rain and towering surf are fierce, atop the jetty rocks at Barview, when the hardcore fishers go to work.
If you watch them go in and out and how they read the water, and how they're picking their way, it's amazing their skill. And for just somebody watching it, it's amazing that they could do what they do.
Don does what few photographers try. Up to 24 Oregon Dungeness crab boats crossing the Tillamook Bar day and night from January through spring.
I tell my crew that, there's some days you just don't tell your wife or your mother about what we did today.
Bob Browning is a longtime fisher and a skipper. There he is at the wheel of his boat, the Lady Lee, crossing the bar.
Every day is different. Every swell's a different direction, a different period length. There's times where you have to make your decision to keep going or to turn around, and you only have a split second to do it, and then you're either safe or you're not.
Browning says the trips are never twice the same, and you better know the way. He adds, Backman's photos get it right.
He knows the right minute to hit the button. I mean, he doesn't just catch you in the action, he catches you at the peak of the action. Like the spray coming off of the boat when a wave hits us and things like that.
Don captures the fisherman's wild and dangerous commute because it's important to share the story of Oregon men and women who put the food on our tables.
They go out and they're working and they think nothing of it. It's just what they do. Yeah. But when you watch them go out or come in when it's nasty, it just kind of gives you some awe,
Stay with us. Washington County history reaches back 90 years to come alive in Verboort, Oregon each fall. Its heritage shared by many friends and families through Sausage for the Soul when the Grants Getaways Holiday Special continues. In Verboort, Oregon, fixing one dinner is monumental work. It's not easy making sausage and all the fixings to feed 8,000 people, but it's work that feeds the soul. Not far away, another group enjoys the soul-satisfying rewards from seasonal hunting trips in the Oregon outdoors.
This is just general Verboort sausage like they make at the Verboort sausage feed. And so I put the sausage in here, and I'm putting just to kind of cover the bottom.
Roger and Janet Van Dyke's family and friends connect with the Verboort sausage story in historic fashion.
Roger's grandmother had the original recipe for the Verboort sausage dinner.
That was 1934, when the first Verboort dinner was served. 100 meals back then, and grandmother Maggie Van Dyke managed it all. These days, the Van Dyke kitchen is in constant motion as the diners pitch in to offer their versions of sausage that they made from their deer and elk harvests.
Throwing it in the cast iron, and then we're gonna add some beer. It's gonna boil for a little while, and then once it's reduced a little bit, we'll add some sauerkraut.
The fiber is a nice little touch, right? Because we go pretty heavy on the meat and proteins. We're gonna mix some chorizo in there with the onions, with some cream cheese.
That will be the Verboort sausage with potatoes and gravy. Very traditional. It's Roger's favorite meal.
A lot of hard work that goes into everything that we do, getting all the way up to camp, the hours that we put in on the ground, finding animals, bringing them back home, processing them. But what a sweet treat, right?
He's right. The family and friends hunt together for deer and elk each fall. Their camping adventures provide plenty of stories to fuel strong memories long after rifles and boots are stored. A couple of winters ago, we saw the Van Dykes in sausage-making action. 4 days of work to process more than 400 pounds of venison and elk, turning the wild game bounty into half a dozen different recipes based on Grandmother Maggie's original.
Which is one of the reasons we're running multiple grinders, because the sooner we can get it processed, the healthier it is for the meat.
Because it's the only way you can get Verboort sausage. Everyone we serve it to says it's the best they've ever had, and they can't get it anywhere else. So we make it for our family and for some friends, and why not?
It's a lot like a holiday. I mean, it's kind of work, but it's a reason for everybody to get together and do something productive.
Roger and Janet's daughter, Erin, grew up making the varied recipes, and she was a mainstay of the operation. A longtime teacher and coach, She led a local high school equestrian team to multiple state championships, and she loved the Oregon outdoor life. Sadly, Erin passed last year following a long battle with cancer. Still, the family continues their traditions. It's what their daughter wanted.
They call it a hunting party. Well, this is a sausage making party, so here we are.
So what's in here?
This is the summer sausage, a 50-50 elk and pork.
What do you like about this recipe?
You know, it's a meal ready to eat anytime.
Roger's pride and joy is his hand-built vine maple burning smokehouse, where he watches for just the right amount of smoke.
I think I was 11 the first time we killed an elk, and we did sausage then.
Did they put you to work as a kid?
Would you consider that work, doing this? It's fun. It's pride.
This is probably my favorite recipe, yeah.
Quick and easy.
Just quick and easy, that's right.
Back at dinner, family and friends and the recipes come together, keeping tradition alive and sharing the season.
Because we love it. Almost like a family or a group event that we just do, and it's fun.
Stay with us. We visit a wildlife artist whose backyard birding and creative artistry lends a magical touch to tiny hummingbirds when the Grants Getaways Holiday Special continues. If a region's wealth can be measured by its wildness, Oregon is one of the richest places around. There's wildlife at every turn. A solitary eagle perched on watch, or V-shaped waterfowl flocks winging from this place to that.
I enjoy going waterfowl season down here at the local island and just driving along the road and identifying them and just how beautiful they are.
Astorian Rick Pass has enjoyed the waterfowl world since a boy. He even captured local ducks with his camera.
They're just beautiful. We go down here and here they are swimming around. There's a cinnamon teal, green-winged teal, mallard. Isn't it amazing how far those birds actually fly? And I can't tell you the thousands of miles. What a journey that is.
The retired school superintendent has been on a new journey the past 20 years.
I'm going to cut out the top view, the decoy on the bandsaw, and then we're going to turn it to the side and we'll cut out a side view. And then what will end up is a three-dimensional decoy that we're ready to start carving on.
He creates nature's creatures from a block of wood, ducks, geese, and other waterfowl that recall youthful outdoor adventures with his dad from 6 decades ago.
Started young. Just something about being with Dad, being out on the water, treasured memories that I'll have forever.
These days, he tries to imagine the wildlife in a woodblock called tupelo, a prized softwood that carvers prefer, but where one mistake can really cost you.
That's my middle name, is mistakes. Mistakes never end. And in fact, every time we make a mistake, we learn from it. And so hopefully the next bird we do is a better bird than this one.
His wood decoys are among the best in the region.
Mac, you ready to do some painting?
Rick's not alone. His good friend Mac Brown was bit by the carving bug a decade ago.
There's nothing that I would rather do.
Now the two compete at decoy art shows across the country.
I like to carve, and Rick is the same way. My retirement hobby, so to speak, is doing these birds.
Brown's carvings are whimsical efforts called chunkies, carvings that just make you feel good.
This is a caricature, I guess you would say. This is not a subtle robin. Kids like them. They just have so much fun with them.
Grandkids Bennett, Blair, and Bryn are just getting started.
Put just a little bit right there.
And that's the beauty of the craft, insists their granddad, Rick. Anyone can learn at any age and discover the wonder of wildlife from a block of wood.
That's the key there. It's the best that I can do. It may not be the best at the show, but that's a winner for me.
It's time to visit a wildlife artist whose backyard birding and creative artistry lends a magical touch to to tiny hummingbirds. The sunny, warm days are fading fast. So Dean Krauser finds magic in the moment.
They're magical, it's true. Just watching them, the way they move.
Krauser is an artist who admits he's making up for lost time. His focus is wildlife.
They're fascinating, and you could sit there all day. Okay, let's see here.
Krauser has spent decades traveling across Oregon, corner to corner, and he owns a reputation as one of the region's finest wildlife artists. His work reflects the adventure, inspiration, and wild moments that he's found along the way, from the largest to the smallest of critters, especially fish, and he credits his parents who guided the way.
In my life, kind of two of the constants have been my art and fishing, my whole life. I have a picture of me standing there with my dad and my brothers on a creek. I'm probably 3 years old, sitting on a rock, casting out a worm, and I feel so fortunate to have something that I care about. To this day, my mom's my biggest fan. I could never make anything that wasn't beautiful. And she was a very good artist herself.
We've enjoyed outdoor time with Dean before. One winter at the Jewel Elk Refuge with an invitation to see the wildlife artist at work.
It's pretty neat just to watch their mannerisms and their feeding and in their hierarchy of who's pushing who around. Anybody would love to go out and see that.
Krauser's had many interests in his life and set many records too, like the NCAA Track and Field Championships he won in 1982 at the University of Oregon, where he still holds school records in shot and discus. He enjoys a family of successful athletes too. Son Sam was an outstanding Olympian, daughter Haley, top of her sport too. And then there's nephew Ryan Krauser, a world champion who continues to break shot put records wherever he competes.
You hear a lot of birds, don't you? There's a lot of stuff here.
Recently, we joined the Oregon native at a wildlife mecca you may have missed, Killen Wetlands in Washington County. Krauser finds it flush with waterfowl this time of year, so his artist's eyes turn to the birds.
Looks like a little, maybe a hen mallard or something. She's having fun.
But it's not a passion for ducks or geese that thrills him most. Rather, the tiniest and most graceful, those hummingbirds.
They're so tiny. Their color, their movement, their shape, everything. Let me get some paint going here.
Krauser captures hummingbirds in a way no one has tried before. He doesn't paint every feather, but suggests what could be, and that sets him apart from everyone else.
I'm just trying to get something fun to happen here where you try to work kind of fast.
And it almost didn't happen. A number of years ago, he was thinking of throwing in the towel. The elk, the trout, the scenery just wasn't working. Harder still to sell. But his wife, Molly, had another idea.
And Molly said, well, why don't you paint something other than a fish? And I remember my quote was, what else is there? That's what I said. Well, what else is there? And she was out in the garden and in a flower patch, and a little hummingbird was coming in right there in front of her. And she said, paint me a hummingbird. And then make some prints and take it to your next show. If they sell, they sell. If they don't, they don't. It doesn't really matter. She said, do it for me. So I did.
And that's when it happened. He sold all the prints and the original before the show even opened.
It absolutely changed everything, the direction.
Today, his prints and assorted hummingbird gifts are found in galleries and shops everywhere. And now there's even more. A book. He calls his original children's story Wonder.
Soaring and sailing, way up high in the sky. If a bear could have feathers, would he be able to fly? It's almost like everything can be explained. iPhones and the internet. And let me explain to you how this works. And it seems to me that the sense of wonder, it almost seems like it's fading away with this technology.
He penned the prose and all the artwork, and his book was published last summer.
And I took my paintbrush and big blob on a piece of paper. And that's what it looked like.
This month, we got a test run of Wonder with a classroom of second graders at Banks Elementary.
You guys want to hear it? Do you want to hear it? You do? Okay.
It's a story about a little bear full of wonder for all that is wild outdoors.
With grace and with power, the rapids flow free. If a bear had a boat, could he float to the sea?
Dean credits his family for encouragement and inspiration to find the wonder in life.
Could a bear have a friend that's as small as a mouse? You think he could? Yeah? I kind of do too.
He asks youngsters to do the same.
People talk about dreams coming true, but in order to have a dream at all, you have to think about it. And in order to think about it, you have to wonder about it. It's the greatest gift there is just wondering about the world. The end. Thank you. That was fun.
Dean is a big believer that we make a living by what we earn, but we make a life by what we give. He plans to give a lot more for all of us to enjoy.
Athletic ability doesn't go on forever, but I feel like with my painting, I can get better at it. If I can use it to do something new, like a book, that would be a cool thing. I think it's so simple, it might be good. I don't know.
We have all the details, directions, and the contact information for all the segments in this year's holiday special on the KGW website, so be sure to check it out. Finally, I am a big believer in the adage, it is the journey that supports the destination. I have found that to be oh so true in my travels and times across Oregon. I hope you do too. So until next time, do get out here and enjoy the Oregon outdoors. Let Grant's Getaways be your guide. For KGW, I'm Grant McComey.
Grants Getaways on KGW is sponsored by Astoria Brewing Company, England Marine and Industrial Supply, and Fish Hawk Fisheries.